Well, just a few hours before Yogi Adityanath was to visit the Gorakhnath Math in his hometown, a man wielding a sickle tried to forcibly enter the Math and in the process attacked the policemen who were on duty there.
In fact, two of the constables were injured in this attack as well, though several others were also there and they were too attacked. But as reinforcements were rushed up, the UP police managed to apprehend the attacker, who is now in custody.
Now, those who were witness to this horror over 90 seconds are recalling exactly what happened, how the man rushed in, shouted religious slogans and then went on a stabbing spree. Listen.
अचानक आदमी बड़ा सा हसुआ लेके अचानक पुलिस वाले पर हमला किया है। पुलिस वाला बचाव करते ही देरी नहीं उसे पटक दिया उठा के। उसमें दूसरा पुलिस वाला आया, उस पर भी हमला किया। उतने में पूरी फोर्स आ गई और
क्यों मार रहा था
वो मालूम नहीं, वो अचानक हमला किया है सर, अचानक हंसुए से।
देख रही थी क्या? मेरे
सामने का आंखों देखा है सर। वो कम से कम काला सा था और कोई साफ सुथरा नहीं था, थोड़े गंदे में ही था। पुलिस वाले सर 3-4 तो घायल जरूर होंगे, उतना में मैं अपनी जान बचा के खुद एटीएम के अंदर छिपी थी सर।
Now, as the probe gathers steam, the UP police has now come out and said that the Gorakhnath Temple attack can be deemed as a terror incident.
In fact, they've even hinted at a larger conspiracy that could be at play. The police saying that perhaps this really wasn't a lone wolf attack. There could be other players behind the scenes.
अपने साथियों के साथ मिलकर उस व्यक्ति को काबू किया तथा उसकी गिरफ्तारी की। उस व्यक्ति के पास से जो चीज़ें बरामद हुई हैं, वो उन चीज़ों को देख के लगता है कि ये एक गंभीर बड़ी साजिश की तैयारी थी और इसमें जैसा कि एसीएस होम साहब ने बताया कि हम लोग इस चीज़ से इनकार नहीं कर सकते कि आज के डेट में ये आतंकी घटना नहीं थी।
Now, the man who ran rampage is shockingly somebody who passed out of IIT Bombay. He's a chemical engineer. Question really arises, what prompted him to strike in this fashion? And is this a result of radicalization?
Absolutely. These are educated young men with futures they could have had, and instead they got radicalized. If that is the case, then how? In fact, Times Now has spoken to the accused father, who claims that Ahmed Abbasi is not mentally stable, and that during his interrogation, the accused was incoherent and couldn't really explain what the motive behind this attack was.
मेरे बड़े पापा थे, आपको पता है सम्मान आया है, बताया? हाँ बताया आगे बताया। तो उन्होंने कहा देखो भाई ये थोड़ा सीरियस लग रहा है, सीसीटीवी भी देखा, सबको लग रहा है कि पुलिस वाले हैं और ये सम्मान का ऐसे कह रहे हैं और सीरियस लग रहा है, तो देख लो भाई क्या है कि बाहर आप कहीं जाओगे। तो ना हमें लगा कि हाँ मैं हो सकता है शायद 3 बजे जाके हम पुलिस गए, फिर हम डर गए, बहुत ज़्यादा डर गए। तो हम नौकर के निकल लिए बैग लेके जो काला बैग वहाँ से नेपाल चले जाएंगे। नेपाल में मतलब
किस बात का डर था तुम्हें? कुछ है क्या प्रॉब्लम? पुलिस
इन्वेस्टिगेशन में डर रही।
2001-2000 से वो बम्बई में अपना वो सिम्टम शो करता था, उसको अच्छा नहीं लगता था, रोता था, घबराहट होती थी, जो डिप्रेशन का पेशेंट ये शुरू से था, जो कि हम लोग समझ नहीं पाए उसकी सीरियसनेस। तो फिर इसको ऑफिस भी जाता था, तो इसको वहाँ लोकल डॉक्टर दिखाया, तो उसने इनको एडवाइस रेस्ट किया, उसका ठीक हो गए, फिर गए। फिर 2018 में 10 अप्रैल को इनका जो है वो नर्वस, मतलब इनका ये पागलपन का दौरा, इनका जो बाइपोलर सामने आ गया। डॉक्टर जामनगर उनके पास आया, लेकिन एक दिन उसका रौद्र रूप देख के डॉक्टर खत्री थोड़ा घबरा गया, बोला नहीं अब यहाँ इलाज नहीं होगा इसका। फिर आया
गोरखनाथ मंदिर में जाने की।
भैया आप समझिए ना क्या वजह है, वो उसको सुसाइड करना है। यहाँ पे 2 आदमी आए थे, तो उसके बाद भी ये कंटिन्यूअस जो था बीमार रहता था।
So what really was the motivation of Murtaza? Is he somebody who is disturbed? Then why is the UP police talking about a terror angle? However, the BJP has said that this is the result of radicalization, where even educated youth are behaving in this fashion. They're also questioning the silence of those who otherwise would be quick to say that there is religious radicalism and polarization in the country.
नहीं, मैं पहले भी कहा हूं कि देश में बढ़ती हुई आबादी मुसलमानों का संकट नहीं है, संकट है उस मानसिकता का, कट्टरपंथी मानसिकता का, जो मानसिकता कभी हिजाब आंदोलन के रूप में देश के अंदर एक ऐसा वातावरण बनाना चाहता है, तो उसे आतंकवादी सोच का हमला कहूँगा। एक पढ़ा लिखा युवक क्या संदेश देना चाहता है, अभी तक कोई टुकड़े टुकड़े गैंग, इस पर कोई सवाल नहीं उठाया। राहुल गांधी की जुबान बंद है।
इसमें 2 सीआरपीएफ के जवान को मार दिया गया है धारदार हथियार से, क्या कहेंगे आप सुरक्षा में?
मैं देखता हूँ इस विषय को, अभी जानकारी मिली है पूरी रिपोर्ट के साथ, अभी थोड़ी देर बाद बात करेंगे।
News which is coming in, inside track of what really the police investigation is now throwing up, and these are sensational details which will show this is perhaps not a lone wolf attack. It wasn't a one-off and could have been a pre-planned terror conspiracy which is under the lens.
In fact, we are being told that the temple was recked just a few days ago, and that 3 to 4 weeks ago, suspects from Nepal are under the lens. Let's quickly get in more on that from our Lucknow Bureau Chief Amir Haque. What exactly are the details of the investigation so far, and what is this Nepal angle and the recce that your sources are telling you about, Amir?
Well, Padmaja, these are details that have emerged from the intelligence sources, which say that they had been keeping track on several suspects who had emerged from Nepal across the border, and they had recked not just Gorakhnath Temple, but also several places, including religious places in Varanasi as well as Ayodhya. Now, this definitely, makes it very curious as to whether these are the people who were actually co-accomplices along with Ahmed Murtaza, the accused who has been held after yesterday's Gorakhnath Temple attack, because although his family does claim that he has been mentally unstable over the last 20 years or so, and that he really was not in his senses when he went there. A number of other facts that have emerged from the story that has been told either by the accused himself or by his family look very, very suspect. For example, while he was mentally unstable as per his family over the last 20 years, he qualified B.Tech, and he came out as a chemical engineer from there. He also worked with several reputed companies, not just in Maharashtra and Mumbai, but also in Gujarat. And in fact, he was in several places over the last several years across India, and did not just stay in Gorakhpur. So therefore, perhaps more investigation is required to connect all such dots between.
Absolutely. In fact, Amir, do stay on with us. Let's go across to our panelists also. Charu Pragya is joining us, spokesperson with the BJP. Arvind Jain, a former DGP of Uttar Pradesh, is here on our show, as well as Danish Qureshi, a political analyst. Arvind Jain, now that the details of the probe are coming to light, there was a recce which was done 3 to 4 weeks in advance. The fact that there were plane tickets which were also recovered from the accused back to Mumbai, where he had also studied at one point. Does it look like it's just a one-off incident, a lone wolf incident, or as he says, spur of the moment attack, incidentally right ahead of the Chief Minister's visit?
Mr. Jain, can you hear us? All right, we'll try and go across to Mr. Jain in just a second. Charu Pragya, the RJD has said very clearly the man is mentally disturbed. Why is the UP police bringing in a terror angle? They are accusing you of polarizing.
Padmaja, I want to mention 2 things here. The first one is that it's a classic case of terror sympathizing. Every single time when you bring in the background of the alleged terrorist. So why should we be concerned about where he has studied? Do we care he's gone to an IIT or not? All the headlines are screaming that instead of talking about the terror incident that happened. And the second part is, in this, to shield the religious angle here, had it been somebody screaming Jai Shri Ram, for example, it's all over headlines. But because this man went out screaming Allahu Akbar, every single publication I have gone through, the pseudo-secular ones, have actually missed out taking his name. All they have said is IIT graduate stormed the temple.
Okay.
And I think that's a terrible place. That's a terrible situation for a country to be in. Here we are with the...
That's a valid point. Danish Qureshi, today no one's coming out and saying that we are worried that this religion is being weaponized. All those people who've been talking about Jai Shri Ram being weaponized, why are they silent today?
I just want to add one more...
Or is it selective now? Selective outrage.
Notice there is an observation by the
let me allow to complete. Charuji, please.
There was an observation by the High Court of Karnataka in the hijab case. Gone on to that our students are being radicalized by SIMI, by PFI.
Okay.
High Court has said this. We have to admit this angle.
Radicalized. Danish Qureshi.
So, Padmaja, I want to say that if anybody make a fire on the Muslims with the slogan of Jai Asar, वो बहका हुआ नौजवान है, and if anybody attacked on police with the Allahu Akbar, he is radicalized, he is a terrorist. There are chances of conspiracy.
No, just a second. Who attacked while saying Jai Shri Ram? Anyone who attacked saying Jai Shri Ram is as much a criminal. Who said कि वो बहका हुआ नौजवान है?
Absolutely not. But if this person has not been everybody his religion.
वो गया ना जेल भाई. आप उस वो गोपाल की बात कर रहे हैं जिसने अपने को जबरदस्ती का राम भक्त बना लिया. वो गया ना जेल. दानिश कुरैशी. किसने बोला वो बहका हुआ है? वो क्रिमिनल है. वो गया जेल. Why are you confusing issues? We are talking simply, when was the last time that a man went on a rampage with a machete, slicing at people, and they said, अरे नहीं ये तो बहका हुआ नौजवान है. किसी ने नहीं बोला.
Padmaja, in Delhi riots, what was the remarks of Delhi court? Did you remember?
अरे भाई तो दिल्ली कोर्ट का क्या करें? If the court wants to make that comment in its wisdom, are you suggesting the court is also now radicalized? Why are you getting in the court, Mr. Qureshi? Can you stick to the topic?
The victor is now the international conspiracy. He has been radicalized by the Muslims.
Danish Qureshi, now will you say that there is another conspiracy? Will you now at least admit that there is weaponization of this religion if you are so worried about weaponization of another religion? Simple question. Danish Qureshi, yes or no? Will you now call this weaponization?
This is all about the morality of Baba. Yogi has to resign because he has failed to secure his own mud. He can secure the 25 crore people.
He should in fact be saying that this panelist is probably he doesn't know what he's saying. No, I want to say this on record. Any person who's shielding a terrorist with a terrorist is worse than the terrorist himself. You are the one who's giving birth to terrorism. You are the one who's giving birth. You are the one who's abetting the radicalization of youngsters in our country.
BJP is the mother who has given a birth to a terrorism in India because the court.
Danish Qureshi, by your refusal to today come out and condemn weaponization of a religion, you have shown that you are actually patronizing, and so are you backing this man? Are you going to call him a beka?
Nobody to hate anybody. Remember one thing, it is all about the matter of the court, and court will do justice in the entire matter.
But you won't condemn. You're waiting for the courts to condemn, but you will not condemn.
Padmaja, number of cases are there. What is the ratio of conviction in the so-called
question?
Ask to Pragya ji, can they answer what is the ratio of conviction in so-called terrorism, case of terrorism?
Even one terror attack is Danish Qureshi unacceptable. Meanwhile, there's some breaking news also which is coming in. We'll just come back to you. There's some breaking news which is coming in.
Just learning, Yogi Adityanath is now on his way to Gorakhpur. This even as the assailant in this case has been sent to 14 days of custody. That's the very latest coming in as far as the assailant in this case is concerned. Yogi Adityanath is on his way to his mud. It's indeed very, very unfortunate, Danish Qureshi, that it takes a heartbeat, Charu Pragya, for people to say, and I quote, Jai Shri Ram is a war cry. Jai Shri Ram has been weaponized. There were at least 6 letters written in the aftermath of the West Bengal elections where people, by the way, just chanted Jai Shri Ram. And it was said that this has turned into an attempt to harass people. What do you say about a slogan today where people were actually slashed? Charu Pragya.
And Padmaja, all respect to you for noting this, observing this on national television. Thank you so much. And you're absolutely right. So if it is Jai Shri Ram which is used, it immediately becomes radical for Hindus. But here is a man who's going around slashing policemen. We've heard the eyewitness account. We have heard, we've seen the videos of how this man went about, and there were suspicious CCTV recordings that we have seen. After all of this, but there are publications, channels which are shielding his name only because they have become sympathizers to terror, and they have become people who will shield one community, going to whatever extent and length it takes. Now over here, Danish Qureshi is also not able to say that this man is a criminal, he's a terrorist. He's sitting here and blaming everybody. He's blaming everybody.
Danish Qureshi, this man carried out a recce. He carried out a recce 3 to 4 weeks in advance. You still think that he's just beka hua?
What is your opinion? She is the Sansad of your party. She's a member of parliament. She's a member of defense committee. She's a member of defense committee.
आ रही है मुझे आपके साथ डिबेट पर ये बातें सुनने में, बेचारा नहीं है वो।
आपकी सरकार है देश में, इससे बड़ी तो बदनसीबी नहीं हो सकती इस देश की कि आप जैसे लोगों की सरकार है इस मुल्क में।
See, I don't think that all the rambling that you're doing even deserves a reply. If you cannot call a terrorist, that's it. That's all there is to it. Full stop.
I want to know your opinion on the sympathy of terrorism. What is your opinion of terrorism?
Why are you mentioning everything about him except his religion? Why are you not accepting that that's a radicalized view? Radicalized by Muslim organizations.
Sympathizer on terrorism, and he has gave a mandate to a lady who has been named in the conspiracy against the nation. Abhinav Bharat. You know that Abhinav Bharat? What is Abhinav Bharat?
Okay, sir, again, there is really no point if we keep engaging in whataboutery just to try and divert from the core issue. Now, let me ask you, Charu Pragya, when you do have cases where, say, somebody is lynched or beaten, and people force that poor Muslim man to say Jai Shri Ram, that time you say it's not about a community, it's about individual crime. Then is it okay to talk about radicalization or a community? Because one man, he could also be mentally disturbed, that's what his parents are saying, goes on a rampage. Maybe the Allahu Akbar was only incidental.
No, Padmaja, in fact, I will say this with a lot of responsibility. We are never one for shielding any wrongdoing. A criminal is a criminal, full stop. But if there is radicalization, systematic radicalization of the youngsters, of one community, of Muslim youth, we have to call it out. This is in national interest that I am saying this. You cannot brush it under the carpet and pretend it doesn't exist. Like I said, the entire that went on, hijab and debate that went on.
Whether
it is CFI, whether it is they have been very, very systematically brainwashing our youth, radicalizing our youth. What is ISIS? What was Simi?
Why doesn't that worry you? That this could possibly be part of a larger conspiracy. If you really and truly are secular, would you not call for an end to indoctrination, be it from one religion or the other? Why does it even matter to you? Why must you bring in the religion of the attacker, Danish Qureshi? Why can't you stand up and condemn any kind of indoctrination? Simple question.
But I want to know the opinion of Charu Pragya ji, that will central government going to enact.
I asked you a simple question. You either answer it, Danish Qureshi, or you duck it. But we are giving you airtime so that you can clarify. Will you come out and condemn indoctrination and perhaps weaponization also of religious slogans such as Allahu Akbar?
Padmaja, if I will reply Nare Takbir Allahu Akbar with Charu Pragya, it is a Jihadi act. What do you mean that? So he is a criminal. He has done a criminal activity, and he will
begin with you condemning this attack. Mr. Qureshi, why don't we just begin with you condemning this attack and the attack? Just take to him and say you don't support it. At the same time, shielding the terrorists. It's just not done.
Against that man who has attacked brutally on the
don't give a story. Just say yes or no. Do you condemn this attack or not?
No.
Do you stand by this attacker?
He will
last 20 minutes, with every breath you defended a terrorist, a radicalized youth.
Okay, these are the fresh images that we are getting. The accused in the Gorakhpur attack case, Murtaza, has been sent to 14 days of custody. These are the images that we have of Murtaza being taken away after he was sent into custody. There he is at the local court, at the district court, and 14 days. That's the big news breaking at this moment. Thanks very much, in fact, for joining us.